So we've got another boatload of new releases debuting very soon or dropping very soon from different brands, and I'm going to tell you all about them coming right up. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian. Yes, another boatload of new releases are soon to drop. I don't know when these are all going to drop, but sometime within the next 3 months, which is what typically happens. And I'm pretty excited for some of these, and there's some brands that I haven't spoken about before in my videos, but today we're talking about them in this video. And let me know if there's anything exciting that you guys are looking forward to in regards to any new fragrances that are dropping soon. And also, when you hear the fragrances I'm talking about today, let me know if you're excited for them or not. But let's go ahead and get started with Parfums de Marly. They have a new fragrance, I believe it's for men, called ALTHAIR, Parfums de Marly. This I found out when I did that video recently about how Parfums de Marly got acquired by Advent Funds, I believe that's the name of the company. It was sold, I think, around $700 million. So a lot of you guys mentioned there is a new fragrance coming out. So I did search, and there's some posts out there from people who have a bottle, but no official announcements I've seen yet anywhere to be found to use. And I don't have notes and things like that. But as I mentioned in that video, I'm not really excited with a lot of the fragrances that are launching from the house of Parfums de Marly, like Haultain. Was a bit of a disappointment because it reminded me of some fragrances from Parfums de Marly, and also it reminded me of some fragrances from Initio Parfums. But we'll see how ALTHAIR is. I'm curious to smell it, always interested in smelling new fragrances. If you've gotten your nose on it, because as I was saying, there are posts out there from people posting their own photos of their bottles, and you've gotten your nose on it, do let me know. Put a comment down so I can find out. So there's a new fragrance from Frédéric Malle, which I did report on, just like the Parfums de Marly today. Didn't have any information on it, but now there are information out there. It's called Heaven Can Wait, with a very Bikilian name for a fragrance, but a very well-respected perfumer, Jean-Claude Ellena, who I got to meet recently. There's a new fragrance from Frédéric Malle. As I said, he's done now maybe 4. Is this his 4th or 5th fragrance? But once again, it's kind of a musky floral fragrance, which features notes of musk, iris, and magnolia. These are the only notes that they have credited. I'm assuming it's very powdery, very musky, and of course floral as well. And I do enjoy Jean-Claude Ellena's approach to kind of very minimalistic creations and fragrances. So if you're a fan of his fragrances, let me know what your favorite Jean-Claude Ellena fragrance is. He has done some fragrances for the Laboratorio Olfativo house. He's done all the citruses there, the cologne type fragrances, which kind of does remind me of the fragrances he created for Hermes, especially from the Jardin collection. So moving on to an exclusive Eccentric Molecules fragrance created for Harrods. So I guess a lot of brands are creating exclusive fragrances for this store, Harrods. And this one seems like not necessarily like his minimalistic fragrances, which are, focusing on one ingredient, a synthetic molecule that reinterprets the smell of like ingredients that are very expensive found in nature. So this one to me is more like the eccentric fragrances versus the molecule fragrances, because it has a lot of notes going for it. But it has vetiver, sandalwood, ISOE super, patchouli, musk, amber, davana, plums, peach, freesia, orange blossom, bergamot, lime, and mandarin. If you're a fan of eccentric molecules, let me know what your favorite fragrances are. There's a lot that I enjoy from this house, but I kind of prefer myself the minimalistic fragrances, utilizing the one notes, and then of course now we have the Molecule 1 Plus series, and there's 6 of those fragrances now. I prefer those more than the kind of eccentric fragrances, but there are a few eccentric fragrances that are nice, and this one seems pretty complex for a fragrance created by Geza, Schoen, the perfumer behind Eccentric Molecules. If you gotten your nose on it, do let me know. But moving on to an AMOUAGE fragrance. So I got to sample this last October while I was at a perfume show when I met up with AMOUAGE. And I enjoyed what I smelled, but I totally can't remember what this one's all about. This is OPUS collection, or the library collection, 15 King Blue. So while I'm waiting for the extract version of Jubilation, we're now getting this one announced. And while I met with AMOUAGE, I did get to see not only the AMOUAGE Jubilation extract, but also didn't get to sample that, unfortunately. They didn't have it ready. They had a bottle there. But I did get to smell this one, and I enjoyed it. But they hadn't really had much information on it. This is a co-collaboration between two perfumers, Alexis, Grugeon, and Hamid Merati-Kashani, and it features notes of oud, oakwood, patchouli, santal, leather, amber, pink pepper, frankincense, mandarin, and blackcurrant. So it seems like AMOUAGE is launching one library collection fragrance or opus collection fragrance a year. Last year we got tobacco, the Royal Tobacco, that was created by Cecile Zarokian, and now we've got a fragrance created by two Firmenich perfumers, Alexis Grugeon and Hamid Merati-Kashani. If you've gotten your nose on it, do let me know, put a comment down. Let's move on to BYREDO in their Night Veils collection of fragrances with Rouge CHAOTIQUE. So I do like this collection, a bit overpriced, but definitely pretty solid. The tobacco and the vanilla is nice. Also there's Chypre, which I'm forgetting the name, and the lily is, they're all really nice. So we'll see how this one is. This one seems to go into a oudi gourmand direction with oud, papyrus, patchouli, plums, praline, leather, saffron, blackcurrant, and bergamot. Who's a fan of this collection? Let me know what your thoughts are. I know there's a lot of people that don't like BYREDO's fragrances because they are pretty simplistic and light, but obviously there's a lot of love for it because they were purchased recently by Puig for a lot of money. And every time I go into one of our stores, they're always at the front because they're popular. People seem to like it. And here now we do have them at Neiman Marcus, but they're also sold at ZGO Perfumery. But let me know your thoughts on the brand, if you're a fan, if you're not, and also the Night Veils collection. Oh, I should also mention we have a BYREDO boutique here in San Francisco as well. So if you're a fan, you definitely got to go to their store because their stores are pretty nice. All right, so up next we've got a fragrance from the house of L'Artisan Parfumeur. It's called Cuir Grenat. This one is sounding very much like a fragrance called Tuscan Leather, which everyone seems to know in the fragrance community. So I'm hoping it does not go into that direction. I'm kind of tired of fragrances that smell like Tuscan Leather because it's been copied and copied and copied and copied and copied, copied too much. But this is created by Christophe Reynaud. He's been creating a lot of fragrances for this house, L'Artisan Parfumeur. Is he the new Bertrand Duchaffoul for L'Artisan? Because L'Artisan had a lot of fragrances created by Bertrand Duchaffoul, but I don't see his name come up much anymore, and now we've got Christophe Reynaud. But this features Ambrofix leather with raspberries, and it sounds like Tuscan leather. What do you guys think? Have you sampled it yet? But moving on to a house that I don't speak much about, if at all, it's Maison Rebacci, and they have two new fragrances. Let me know if you guys want me to cover this house and do some videos on their fragrances. Let me know if you're a fan of them also. But the two fragrances are Myrrh and Musk, created by Elias Hermanides, and then we've got Velvet Date, created by Vincent Ricord. Now, I do enjoy both of the perfumers. Vincent Ricord does some good gourmands, and seems like the one he did here is a bit like gourmandish, but Myrrh and Musk by Elias Hermanides features notes of patchouli, musk, frankincense, myrrh, juniper, pink pepper, and then the Velvet Date features amber, dates, honey, oud, tonka beans, white tobacco, davana, rose, saffron, citruses, and pink pepper. Between the two, I'm actually liking the sound of Velvet Date, but sometimes I like the sound of a fragrance and then more than another one, and then I prefer the other one over the one I really thought was going to be great. So we shall see how these two fragrances are. And again, do let me know if you're a fan of this house and what are your favorite fragrances, and if you want to see a video about the fragrances from this house. Moving on to Kayali. If you guys caught my video with Mona Katan, she came over to the studio here. We shot a video, and I was asking her if there are any new fragrances, and they had samples of the new fragrances, and I got to smell them, and they were very woody, sandalwoody, musky fragrances. Actually, there's two that are launched called the Wedding. There's a wedding. It's like a wedding series. There's the Wedding Velvet Santal and the Wedding Silk Santal. And I think one of them I really liked the smell because it was very smooth, buttery, but also powdery sandalwood with musk in it. So I'm not sure which one I enjoyed. And it could be that I smell them again and I would prefer the other one. But one of them, the first one, Velvet Santal from the Wedding Velvet Santal is what it's called, 35, is created by Fabrice Pellegrin. I'm not sure if she's worked with Fabrice Pellegrin for fragrances before, but he's a Firmenich perfumer, and speaking to Mona, she prefers, or she likes to work with Firmenich perfumers. But the Velvet Santal 35 features sandalwood, benzoin, cedarwood, white musk, tea, and jasmine. When I'm hearing these notes, this one sounds like it's the one that I liked, but I don't remember what I smelled, but I did smell the two fragrances. The other one is the Wedding Silk Santal 36, and this is a perfume created by Gabriella Chalaru. I think that's how you say her name, and I believe this is the main perfumer of a lot of Kayali fragrances. So we've got sugar, sandalwood, vanilla, musk, amberwood, oak moss, praline, jasmine, orange blossom, nectarine, champagne, freesia, blackcurrant, and May rose. Both of them sound great. I did prefer one over the other, but it was a quick sniff on the video we did together. If you haven't caught that video, please go catch it to kind of see what I thought about these two quick smells of these new fragrances. But either way, I'm excited to check these two fragrances out. Let me know if you've already sampled them and what your thoughts are. So there are 3 fragrances from Mercedes-Benz, and all 3 of the fragrances are created by Anne Flippo from IFF, International Flavors and Fragrances. So I don't recall Mercedes-Benz as a brand using these very well-known perfumers in the past, but that's why I'm talking about them today, because in the past I never really was excited about Mercedes-Benz fragrances. Now the fact that they have a perfumer, a well-known perfumer from IFF, creating these 3 fragrances, I wanted to talk about them. So we've got 3 fragrances: Mercedes-Benz Land, Mercedes-Benz Sea, Mercedes-Benz Air. Land is tonka beans, cacao, woods, patchouli, black pepper, rosemary, geranium, and balsam fir. So kind of sounds great. The patchouli, woods, the cacao, the tonka. I like the idea when they mix it with balsam fir, because I like the smell of balsam fir. So contrasted with kind of gourmandish, earthy, woody notes, sounds pretty nice. And then Mercedes-Benz Sea is woods, violet leaves, patchouli, tangerine, and florals. And I like it when they have a sea or marine themed fragrance, and they're not using sea notes or cologne or marine or fishy smelling things. In this case, she's using violet leaves. So it's ozonic and crisp and fresh and a bit fruity from the use of violet leaves, which creates ozonic touches to the fragrance. So I like the sound of this one as well. We'll see how it is. And then Air, on the other hand, is angelica, woods, wormwood, petitgrain, patchouli, and turmeric. And I like wormwood in fragrances as well. It's not really used quite a bit, because I love the smell and taste of it in liqueurs and things like that. So this one sounds good too. It sounds powdery. Angelica creates a very powdery experience, also a bit vegetal and musky as well. So all 3 of them sound great to me. Again, I'm not the biggest fan. I have one of their fragrances, the vanilla, but that's all I have from Mercedes-Benz. So we'll see how these 3 are. Moving on to the house of Calvin Klein. I never got into Defy, but they have now a parfum version of Defy, created by Pascal Gorin of IFF once again. This is cacao, pink pepper, and lavender. I'm really cautious with a lot of these parfums, so we'll see how this one is. There are the rare cases when something is really, really great and I enjoy it, but Calvin Klein as a brand is a bit challenging. We'll see how Defy parfum is, but I've never really even experienced any of the Defy fragrances. I kind of dismissed the whole series. If it's cool, let me know what your thoughts are on the Defy series, and if you've gotten your nose on Defy parfum, let me know that as well. But moving on to Molinard. What the heck is happening to Molinard? They're not really having any representation here in the States anymore, so a lot of their fragrances have to be ordered from overseas or from the discounters, which sometimes the older stock ends up at. But I did meet up with Molinard during Duty Free in October of last year, and they're doing some redos. Their bottles are getting changed, especially the ones in the purple bottles, and I think they're looking for new distributorship. So hopefully they'll come back, because I really do enjoy Molinard's fragrances. And the bamboo sounds nice. It's bamboo with basil, ginger, cardamom, cedar, sandalwood, musk, and bergamot. Really do enjoy Molinard's fragrances. If you're ever in the south of France, go to Grasse. near Nice and visit their perfume shop in Grasse, because I think you'll really enjoy the historic side of it, because they have displays of all their old classic bottles, and then there's a shop there as well. You can, buy fragrances and things like that. So Akakapa has a new fragrance called Pepe Rosa and Arancho Amaro, which means pink pepper, Pepe Rosa. I believe Arancho Amaro means bitter orange, because those are the notes that are listed there in the fragrance. And it's a house that I speak about a lot with Muschio Bianco. It's a great fragrance that's very musky and also kind of clean laundry-like. But this one sounds really nice as well. It's pink pepper, bitter orange, amber, oak moss, guaiac wood, cedarwood, elemi, patchouli, jasmine, and citruses. Who's a fan of this house? It's interesting. I took a trip one time, like 10, 11, 12, maybe even, 14 years ago to, where did I go? To Vancouver in Canada, and the hotel I stayed at had Akakapa products. And this was like in the latter part of the 2000s, and I wasn't even familiar with Akakapa at that time. So that's the first experience with Akakapa. Later on, I started going to Essence, and I got to meet the brand and things like that. So I do enjoy their fragrances, and this one sounds great. I like the idea of bitter orange and also pink pepper, because they do work really beautifully together. And then we've got a fragrance from the house of Mauboussin, a French jewelry designer who releases fragrances. They've launched some really great fragrances. This is a female targeted release, but I kind of was intrigued by the bottle, and it seems like it's going tropical. It has really beautiful bottle. That's why I wanted to talk about it, because I usually don't report on random fragrances that are strictly, from the designers that don't have a lot of excitement around it. But I do like Mauboussin fragrances, and over the years I've had some great fragrances from this house. This one sounds great. It's pineapple, coconut milk, praline, tonka beans, vanilla, heliotrope, iris, figs, white amber, and cedar. What do you guys think about the bottle? What do you guys think about the sound of this fragrance? And if you're a fan of Mauboussin, do let me know. Put a comment down below so I can find out. Last but not least, I'm talking about a brand called Fugazi, which I got to first experience at Javoy earlier this year. And then when I went to Essence, they were there, and I got to meet the brand as well. I'm hoping to do a video on this house very soon, and I wanted to report on this new release that is coming out, which I got to preview at Essence. It's called No Cologne. This is a great house with not very expensive fragrances, but really wonderful offerings, I think. Bergamot, grapefruit, lemons, mandarin orange, orange blossom, ginger, mimosa, pink pepper, clary sage, amber, ambrette, oak moss, and vetiver. This does sound great. It does smell great. No Cologne, kind of like a play on, like it's not a cologne, but it is. The house has great fragrances, and I think this is definitely going to be solid. It's a freshie for sure, but it does settle to a bit of a warm, amber, woody kind of base when it's drying down. But if you've sampled their fragrances, let me know. And I've heard that ZGO Perfumery here in San Francisco is going to be carrying the brand. In fact, I recommended it to them, and they're waiting for stock. So soon they'll have the fragrances selling here, and those of you that live close by will be able to go and pick up the fragrances or order them online. But either way, that's all I have for you today. 18 new fragrances coming out that I'm excited about. Let me know your thoughts on these fragrances. Are you excited about these fragrances? Do let me know. Put a comment down and let me know what else is coming out that I did not talk about today. I'd like to find out if there's something missing that I did not hear about yet that I can report on in a future video. But either way, guys, thanks so much for watching today's video. If you have any questions or comments, please do list below. Please like this video. Please share it. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye. A couple of bonus options here for you. It never became the year of pistachio, but this one sounds like a really great fragrance I heard about recently. And I don't know this brand whatsoever. Sphinx Creme de Pistache. Does anyone know this house? Have you sampled anything from this house? And have you sampled this fragrance? Although maybe it's not out yet, but it does focus on pistachios. It's pistachio, rice, vanilla, ice cream, milk, whipped cream, almonds, lemons, fruits, cherries, amber, white musk, cinnamon, and rum. From what I learned about this brand, it's a brand from Southern California, LA area. I don't know anything else about them. I've never sampled any of their fragrances. I don't even see them. But then I learned about this fragrance. Let me know your thoughts if you know this house and if you're sampled this, or if you don't know about this house and you're curious to sample Creme de Pistache. Last but not least, bonus option, there's a fragrance called Bois Belize Intense from the house of Parfums de Nicolai. And from what I read, this is it was an exclusive fragrance, and now it's making its appearance worldwide. Is this true? Because I've never seen this fragrance here at ZGO Perfumery in San Francisco, because they carry Nikolai. And it does sound great, and I've read that it's a tea fragrance, so it's one of the really great tea fragrances. And I do enjoy the fragrances of Nikolai, so she does do some great fragrances. But the notes are mate, rose, gaiac wood, bergamot, oak moss, vetiver, cardamom, cloves, patchouli, musk, osmanthus, and ambrette. Let me know if you've sampled this fragrance, and is it a great tea fragrance like I hear from everyone? Do put a comment down below so I can find out. But either way, guys, thanks so much for watching. Stay tuned for another video tomorrow. Bye-bye.